hear me now?
Yes.
Yes.
Anyhow,
Excuse me?
I hope you've got a microphone up by the speaker here, but
We can hear it.
sadly enough, my family has been part of this terrible, terrible epidemic. Gregory might have already explained to you that 22% of the female population in the United States is using an antidepressant. There are so many bad effects that we're going through right now. And my wife, sadly enough, was involved in that when she took Prozac and lost her life due to suicide. She was diagnosed with bipolar affective disorder, one with rapid cycling. Not good. It's the most difficult diagnosis that you can deal with in the affective disorders. And her father, Gordon, took his life 16 years before she did. And you can see a picture of her with my youngest daughter. At the age of 11, this young daughter that you see pictured there became schizophrenic, suffering with major lability, seeing people that weren't there, hearing voices. It was terrifying for her as well as the family to watch her going through this.
Tony, can you turn the screen up just a little bit? We're looking more at your keyboard. We can't see the top of your screen. Okay, very good. Much better, thank you.
Is that big enough?
Yeah.
Good.
That's good.
What I'll actually do is I'll develop a Skype presentation. We won't have to do it this way, but at the time of my wife's death, sadly enough, these two children, Joseph and Autumn, were both diagnosed with the same thing as their mother, and both of them were absolutely out of control. You need to understand that people don't line up to sign up for these disorders. It's terrible. Both of them are highly medicated. My daughter was on 5 different medications: Haldol, Rivotril, Epivel, Ativan, and Gogentin. In spite of that, she was absolutely out of control, in and out of the psych ward like her second home. You can see my son Joseph pictured there. Joseph suffered terribly. Violent fits of rage. He was using lithium to try and control his bipolar symptoms. In spite of that, it wasn't working. I had to find an answer, and it wasn't good at all. I wonder, would you be able to hear this video, do you think, Gregory?
Let's try it, and I'll let you know.
Okay, you let me know. This is from Discovery Health Channel. They did a 1-hour documentary on the Stephan family story. So let's see if you can pick this up.
You are watching Discovery Health Channel.
You know, I was quite certain that I could kill almost anyone. I could do these things without even thinking twice about it.
A family legacy. Bipolar disorder. A debilitating mental illness. By January of 1996, Tony Stephan was at his wit's end. His wife had committed suicide after a decade-long battle with bipolar disorder. Then his daughter and son were diagnosed with the same disease. 15-year-old Joe was tormented too by suicidal thoughts.
I was always quite certain that I would never make it through, to next summer or to the beginning of school again, stuff like that. I was always expected, I kind of expected myself to be dead by then.
And Joseph was dangerous. He was obsessed with guns.
I was very paranoid of being attacked by, government kind of things, SWAT teams and stuff. So I would stockpile just about any kind of weapon I could get my hands on. Knives, rifles, just about anything I could maim or destroy. I would have piled away somewhere.
When I saw him in early April of 1995, there were a lot of concerns about Joe and his family. His family was actually quite terrified of him. He was delusional at times. Joe had verbally threatened to killed his siblings and his stepmother several times. I felt at this time that he was definitely bipolar. I prescribed lithium in April of 1995. There was some concern about his compliance with medication, with lithium.
That was just a horrendous feeling. I hated that. Whenever I would take that, I would get a shake. It just feels so crappy. Like it made me feel not all there, like physically. I just didn't feel good at all. I would just get all dark and dingy. You know, I was quite certain that I could kill almost anyone or anything. You know, it even scared myself that I could do these things without even thinking twice about it.
Gregory, were you able to hear that?
Yeah, very good. Yes.
Okay. Well, that's exactly what we were suffering with as a family. And it wasn't Joe's fault because that's not the way that he was born. This was an onset thing. Prior to puberty, he did wonderfully well. He was a very kind young man. But when he hit puberty, he absolutely lost it. I remarried about 8 months after my wife's death to one of her best friends. And she realized very quickly that this wasn't going to work, that it was like living in an asylum, and that the family was coming unglued, which it was. And so she made an appointment with a psychiatrist at the University of Calgary, and we traveled up there. It took about 3 months to get in there. We finally got in, and when I sat with her and Barbara and Joseph, my son, and started to explain to her, she said, "Mr. Stephan, spare me the details. I don't want to hear the gory facts. I deal with thousands of people every year, and we need to move on." I started to explain to her, that this young man would never have a life, he'd never have a career pursuit, never have any educational pursuit, never have a sweetheart or children of his own because he was so dysfunctional because of the disorder. And she said, "I understand, Mr. Stephan, we're going to do the best that we can to try and get a combination of medications that will sedate him." Well, I didn't want him sedated. I wanted him whole. And I said, with all of the millions of dollars in pharmaceutical research, there has to be some better answers than this. And she was quite adamant about this is the best that's available. And finally, I think she got a little tired of me, and she said, "Mrs. Stephan, will you take Joseph and go out in the waiting room and close the door behind you?" When that door closed, it was like a shotgun going off in my face. "Mr. Stephan, you need a wake-up call. Don't you get it? Don't you get it? What you see is what you've got." And she flopped open a large manual called the Diagnostic